I wanted to pop in today to talk about healthcare in the United States. I want to talk about this from a spiritual perspective. I want to perhaps offer you some hope, give you a bit of a different perspective about what is going on right now with healthcare in the United States. So first and foremost, I believe that the removal, basically, of healthcare here within the United States is nothing short of a human abuse. I find it horrific. I find it devastating. I find it horrendous. And also in the midst of that, what I want you to know is that as I'm sharing today's perspective with you, that it's just that, it's a perspective. I am not diminishing your experience. I am not diminishing how this is going to affect you, because I know for some, I don't even know what to say. It's going to be a nightmare. And I want to offer you my love and hugs. And I also want to share with you that I'm also going to be deeply affected by this. And I'm going to share a little bit more with you about that. But I wanted to get these caveats out of the way up front so that you don't think that I'm like, hey, I just got this great perspective for you, because it's not that at all. However, I do want to give you some hope and to remind you that nothing lasts forever. So a little bit about me and my background. I come from a family of business owners, of entrepreneurs. Health insurance was one of those things that was kind of a big deal in our family. You know, we, I think, pretty much paid most things out of pocket growing up. And I know that, it wasn't until I got a bit older that we had health insurance, and going to the doctor wasn't that big of a deal, right? Health insurance has always been expensive. Health insurance has always been, a heavy weight upon those who weren't wrapped up in the system, who didn't have the corporate 9-to-5 jobs or the federal jobs or those types of things. Healthcare has always been an issue. It's not like this is new, right? But I remember my parents struggling over, do we take her in for an eye exam or these types of things when I was younger. As I got older and left home, there was a short period of time that I had health insurance when I was a college student. That was great. But I went to college as an adult, and when I got out, I only worked for an agency for about 4 to 5 months before starting my own business. And at that point in time, health insurance went out the door. So for me, I was so grateful when Obamacare came into being. I started working for myself in 2012 and 2012. And I believe Obamacare came into being several years later. I think it was 2014, perhaps, when I first started getting health insurance. And this was a really big deal for me. I was so excited to be able to have health insurance, to be able to go to the doctor. As a woman, there's all kinds of things we got to stay on top of. Plus, I am neurodivergent. I have ADHD, I am a high-functioning autistic, and medicine has been a big part of my life as an adult and has been a big part of helping me to be my best self and to do regular everyday life things. And so being able to easily afford that was huge for me. I have been thankful every year that I've had the opportunity, because I'm still an entrepreneur all these many years later. And quite frankly, if I was to just pay for insurance outright, it would be a huge burden on my overall budget. So in the midst of, seeing the changes that were taking place within the government surrounding healthcare, seeing so many people talking about what they're going to be paying each month and just thinking oh my gosh, how are we going to afford this? I, of course, started doing my own homework and diving into my own numbers, looking at what healthcare was going to, cost for me, and also potentially me with my partner, right? If we were on the same plan, and being blown away by what it is that is being taken from us, I should say. And I honestly started spiraling. You know, I am 43 years old. I've been going through perimenopause for several years now. I should say white knuckling it, thinking that I was okay. I have managed a lot of it with diet, with exercise, these types of things, but I'm at that point where I am now in need of medical intervention. And that's going to require tests and visits and adjustments and all kinds of things, right? And so I started freaking out and I started spiraling. And of course, in the midst of this, I went to the Akashic Records and wanted to learn more about what is going on and what is taking place right now with healthcare, because I needed a better perspective. I was so emotional about this, and quite frankly, like really getting caught up in like victim mentality regarding this, and angry, so angry, you know, so angry at the people in government, so angry about what's happening. And while that anger is fully justified, it is not helpful for finding a solution. So what was really interesting is that first and foremost, the Akasha showed me that this is one of those systems that are breaking down right now that must go. If you watched my video about Donald Trump, then you know that I shared about how he is the perfect person right now to be in government. He is the wrecking ball that has come in to take down everything that is not serving us here within the United States. And let's be honest, has healthcare served us here in the United States? You know, for those who have federal jobs, right? Like maybe teaching jobs, like, oh my gosh, you had it so good, right? Like you had great healthcare. But for the majority of us, like healthcare has been a nightmare every year. It's like, what is this going to be? And then like, you know, we've got to fight the companies to cover things. It's always been a nightmare. And I'm not here to advocate for universal healthcare or anything. That's a totally different topic. But just to say that, you know, when the Akasha showed me that, it was like, oh yes, this is so true. This system has never served us. And so right now, healthcare is up on the docket in regards to the system that must break. And I think that right now, you know, we're all freaking out. We're all like desperate and grasping on to what was, being like, oh no, I would take that old premium. That would be fine. That would be good enough. Versus looking at these new ones that we have in front of us and realizing like, this is going to be rough. This is going to be awful, quite frankly. And the other thing that the Akasha showed me is that in the midst of healthcare fully breaking down for us here in the United States, that there are going to be solutions that come in. We are going to have businesses who are going to assist in this process. And one of the great examples that they showed me is America's Best. Now, if you are someone like me who, you know, has struggled with health insurance in general, and you need contacts, I wear contacts, then you may be aware of America's Best. They've been around for quite a while. They're incredible. What you do is you basically go in for like an eye care exam, right? And you pay like $120 or something, I think it is now. It used to be $99. And that ensures that you get health exams for 3 years. Plus you get discounts on eyewear and on contacts and a number of other different things. It's a great business model for those of us who can't afford to also have like, you know, eye glassware, doctor, whatever stuff attached to our medical insurance, because I only had medical insurance. I had to handle my dentist outside of that. I had to handle my eye stuff outside of that. What I'm saying is that these businesses are going to start stepping in and taking over. Even right now, in the midst of me freaking out, you know, my beautiful partner went out and did a bunch of research and actually found a female doctor who specializes in menopause, and her clinic, which is a very new type of clinic, welcomes in women. You pay a strict, like a flat fee every month, and you have basically unlimited access. So these are not quick 10-minute sessions. These are 30 to 60-minute appointments. Everything from, you know, my pap smears to dealing with chronic illnesses or anything of that nature, in addition to all of the hormonal stuff that I'll be going through. What I want to share with you is that even in the midst of these breakdowns, solutions are going to rise, and we're going to find these more and more in our communities. I remember 2 years ago, a friend of mine who lives in Asheville, North Carolina, telling me about these functional doctor clinics who, again, they have like monthly fees, and you pay that monthly fee and you have unlimited access to these folks. I wanted to share this with you because I loved when the Akasha brought this through for me. It made me feel so much better about what is taking place right now. We have to remember that these systems must fall, must be broken apart so that they can be rebuilt. And you better believe that as this country moves forward and doesn't have healthcare, there's going to be rioting, there's going to be major issues that arise out of this. And in the midst of that, new solutions will come to the forefront. You know, savvy business owners are going to be jumping in like, okay, let's do this. And I guarantee you that as a collective, we're going to come together and we're going to create something new. So again, I wanted to put this video together to offer you up a bit more about what's going on. And also, I just send you my love. I send you hugs for whatever your situation is. If you're angry, be angry, honor that anger. And let's think about how we can be creative in these times, because I can tell you that, you know, when we have options taken off the table, that's because there's something even better for us. And it's always tough to see in the beginning, but on the other side of it, you know, we're usually grateful for it because it's much better. So I'd love to know how this resonates with you. Thank you for tuning in.